Hello, welcome to you. I wonder if somebody could let me know in the chat if you are hearing and seeing this okay. I have just had one of those blue screen situations and the laptop completely crashed and died just after I went live on YouTube. So it would be incredibly reassuring to see a comment that says, yep, we're up and running and everything's going well. Good evening, George and Eunice. And I take it you are seeing me and all is looking good. Right, now then. Okay. I think we are in business. Brilliant. Excellent. Oh, that was a wee bit of a panic there. Could have done without that. Good to see lots of you logging in and raring to go for our quiz this evening. Usual rules. 10 rounds, 5 questions, 50 questions, 2 points each, 2 for a perfectly right answer, 1 if you think you're a wee bit right. And no Googling, but you can phone a friend. Maybe some of you are on the phone to a friend as part of a virtual team or on a WhatsApp group or have a wee Zoom meeting going alongside the quiz or whatever. I know there are a few virtual teams around the country. Good. Okay, couple of minutes to go. All is looking well. I hope you are all well and looking forward to a good weekend. Yeah. Okay, 2 minutes to go. If you haven't already popped something in the chat and you're seeing the chat to the right-hand side of the video, then say hello. Say where you are playing, where you're joining us from. Okay, it is 7 o'clock. Welcome to you all to another monthly lockdown quiz, and I hope you're enjoying some of the relaxation on the COVID limitations just now, and are all keeping well and safe. So 50 questions between us and a winner this evening. Who will it be tonight? May is the month in which Christian Aid Week falls. And if you enjoy the quiz tonight, then you might want to make a wee contribution to Christian Aid. And I can pop a link in the chat. That should be happening now. The 3,000 Steps Challenge is one that Christian Aid have extended this year, and I've accepted it and got off to a good start today with where are we at now? 10,000. I don't know if you can see that. Now we're getting a wee bit of reflection there. But it says that I've done 10,734. And as long as I can average 9,678 steps over the 31 days in May, then I will have achieved 300,000 steps. And on Facebook, on my own Facebook page and the AKSM Church pages is a link to my Christian Aid fundraising page. And May hasn't even started, and it's at 55 of my £500 target by the end of May. And maybe some of you would like to contribute to that. Okay, let's get on with the quiz. And tonight we have a first round which is called Characters, and I want you to tell me who was the only major female Muppet in the Muppet Show. Of the main characters, only one female, and of course you know who it is, don't you? But then a more difficult one, because I'm going to ask you, Adam Dalgleish and Cordelia Gray are detectives created by which crime writer? And then to a political character, I want you to tell me which British Prime Minister famously observed, "A week is a long time in politics." Who famously said that? In the story, what was the name of the man who carved Pinocchio? And then for our fifth and final question in the characters round, a picture for you. Who's that? Name the character. And I see in the chat, Mum and Dad are trying to join. Going to put a message in that says you have joined and that you've got there. Okay, that was the last of our first round on characters. And have you had enough time? Do you want the answers now? Let's go to the answers for that first round. We were looking for Miss Piggy, P.D. James, Harold Wilson, Geppetto, and Sylvester the cat. Okay, ready for another round. This one is entitled around the world. Around the world in 5 questions. The valleys of 2 major rivers lend their name to the French Appellation Contrôlée wine regions. One is the Loire. What's the other? Question 2. In which English county is Stratford-upon-Avon? In which English county is Stratford-upon-Avon? And with another wee take on Around the World, launched by the Russians in April 1971, what was the name of the first space station? Question 4. The Folketing is the national parliament of which kingdom? Don't put the answers in the chat, then you're telling everybody. Just write down your answers. Okay. Folketing, Folketing, perhaps how it's said. It's the national parliament of which kingdom? And the last question in Around the World. What name is shared by the currencies of both North and South Korea? So that was round 2. So you've now had 10 questions, a potential 20 points if you got them all right. The top mark so far the top mark that's been declared in the chat, and you can declare your scores there. No putting the answers in. And we're just about to go to the answers for Around the World. And we were looking for the Rhone, Warwickshire, Salute 1, Denmark, and the won, WON, is the currency in both North and South Korea. So at the end of round 2, a potential 20 points. The last question there. Yeah, sorry, it didn't appear on screen. It's on screen now, though, with its answer. What name is shared by the currencies of North and South Korea? We're going on to round 3, but maybe before we do that, let's see some scores. Have we got any 16s, 17s, 18s? 13. 13's the highest I'm seeing. Okay, let's go on to round 3, and it's all about art and literature. And I want to know, which author created Discworld? Which author created Discworld? Discworld. Blithe Spirit and Private Lives are among the plays written by whom? Question 3, an art one. One of the best-selling prints in Britain over the last 25 years. What was the name of Jack Vetriano's painting of a couple on a beach accompanied by 2 servants with umbrellas? What was the name of that iconic picture? And then a picture question, an easy one. Name the artist. All got that one? Ready for another one? The question isn't name the artist. What's the picture called? What's the title? Name the painting by Edward Munch. Okay, so that was art and literature. Wee reminder of the questions there. I'll give you a moment with those before we go to the answers. And then we had name the artist and name the painting. And maybe it's time to go to the answers. Not quite yet. Okay. Okay, the answers we were looking for. Sir Terry Pratchett. You still get the answer if you missed the sir. Noel Coward was the playwright we were looking for. The Singing Butler, that Jack Vetriano painting. Leonardo da Vinci, the artist of The Last Supper. And The Scream is what we were looking for the painting by Edward Munch. Okay, ready for another round. And this one I have entitled Living World. And I wonder if anyone knows this. A male ferret is called a hob. What is a female ferret known as? Where in the human body would you find carotid arteries? Carotid arteries. Third question in the living world round. How many eyes do most spiders have? How many eyes do most spiders have? Question number 4. Which bird is a universal symbol of peace? And finally, lion, leopard, rhinoceros, elephant, and Cape buffalo are known collectively as what? And that was round 4. So a possible score out of 40. And you'll know how you're doing after we've heard the answers. Are we ready for them? Let's go. The answers we were looking for. A Jill. A Jill is a female ferret. Well done if you got that right. The others were maybe a wee bit easier. Where in the human body would you find the carotid arteries at the neck? How many eyes do most spiders have? Most spiders have 8. Some have only 6. A few have only 4. Always in pairs. But most have 8 eyes. And they're watching you. The dove, of course, the bird symbol of peace, and lion, leopard, rhino, elephant, and buffalo are the big 5. So, marks out of 40. Welcome to Marjorie and Carol. Well done for finding the chat and telling us that at the end of the last round you were at 23 out of 30. Is it going to be 33 out of 40? Claire telling us about 26 out of 40. Well done. Okay, let's go to a round entitled Materials. Materials. A galosh is an overshoe typically made of what material? A galosh. An overshoe typically made of what material? What colour is the gemstone malachite? Are you ready for question 3? 90% of Europe's natural roofing slate comes from which country? Question 4. What do Americans call what Brits call lycra? And the Stone of Scone, used for centuries in the coronation of the monarchs of Scotland, is an oblong block of what? And I want something slightly more precise than stone. So that was round number 5. Oh, we're halfway through. Halfway through. But have you got half marks or more? So we'll go to the answers for that round on materials, and then you'll have your score out of 50. Galoshes, typically made of rubber. Malachite, the gemstone, is green. 90% of Europe's natural roofing slate doesn't come from Ballachulish. It comes from Spain. Americans call lycra spandex, which is an anagram of expands. And the Stone of Scone, Stone of Destiny, is a block of red sandstone. You can have the 2 points if you said sandstone, but extra kudos for red sandstone. So that was round 5. Hope you are enjoying the quiz so far. And just a wee reminder that you might want to make a wee contribution, if you'd like, to Christian Aid. Christian Aid Week is coming up in the middle of May, 10th to the 16th of May, supporting lots of projects around the world, bringing justice, clean water, bringing good things to some of the world's most poor and vulnerable. So let's go on to round number 6, and it's entitled Music. And I want you to tell me, who was the lead singer of the glam rock band T-Rex? Which duo scored 0 points? I didn't say that very well. You know what I meant. Which duo scored nothing, zilch, for the UK in the 2003 Eurovision Song Contest? Justin Timberlake left which boy band during the noughties, the first decade of the 2000s? That could have been phrased better. Justin Timberlake left which boy band in the first decade of the 21st century? Who was the best-selling female album artist of that first decade of the 21st century? Best-selling female album artist of the first decade of the 21st century. And the final question in this music round is baggage, garaged, cabbage, defaced, effaced. Which is the odd one out? And I didn't take the answer out. So you've got a bonus point there. And you're all scratching your head and thinking, what? It's a music round. And as the answer's there, you've got your point, and garaged is the only one of those words that you couldn't play musically because it's got an R in it. Are there distant, remote groans going on? Sorry, I left the answer in there. Okay, we'll go to the rest of the answers in 30 seconds. Okay, now the answers, Mark Bolan, T-Rex, the duo that scored 0 points in 2003 Eurovision, Zemini, it's a Z. I've just checked that one. I meant to check it before we went live. Zemini was the group that in 2003 got us no points at all with a song Cry Baby. Justin Timberlake left the boy band NSYNC, and it was Britney Spears who was the best-selling female album artist of the first decade of the century. And did you know that Britney Spears is an anagram of... Does anyone know? Pop it in the chat quickly. Do you know? Britney Spears is an anagram of Presbyterian. And that last one, the answer was garaged, because you couldn't play it on a piano. All the others, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, are notes that you can play, but not the R in garaged. So where are we at now? That was round 6. So we've got a score of Presbyterians. Yes, there's the S there. Yep. And Marjorie's really on form and tells us that she's got some black malachite earrings. Okay, maybe malachite can be black. Okay, 40 out of 60. Seems like a very respectable score. The next round is called Numbers. Numbers. And the Dalgety Bay team is also returning a 40. 1340 in words, not numbers. We'll see how they do on numbers. Prior to decimalisation. Here's one for all the oldies. Talking of which, I'm feeling old today. I had my second jag today. I must be old. I was speaking to a colleague earlier and he said, I haven't had my first one yet. Okay, for the folk that can remember pre-decimalisation, how many farthings were there in a pound? How many farthings in a pound? Actually, you'd have to be pretty old to be familiar with farthings, but you may know. Not suggesting anyone's that old. That'd be a good question for another time. When did the farthings stop being currency? Maybe that one will crop up in next month's quiz. Prior to decimalisation, how many farthings were there in a pound? Can you tell me what is 16% of 50? Now, here's one that you might need to think about. Bannockburn, 1314, blank. Ottoman Mamluk, 1516. What might fill the blank in the middle? It's a bit like some of the questions they have on Only Connect, if you watch that quiz program. Bannockburn 1314, blank. Ottoman Mamluk 1516. What might fill the blank in the middle? And there could be lots of answers. Okay, have you had enough time to puzzle around that one? Question 4 on numbers. What number is represented by the Roman numerals XC? And the final numbers question is, what is the square root of 144? Okay, are you still puzzling around that middle one? Give you 30 seconds on that one. Okay, prior to decimalisation, how many farthings were there in a pound? 240 pennies in a pound, 4 farthings to a penny, 960 farthings in a pound. 16% of 50 maybe seems like, how on earth would you, where are we going to start? But 16% of 50 is mathematically going to be the same as 50% of 16. Now that's easier, isn't it? And the answer is 8. Bannockburn 1314, Ottoman Mamluk 1516. What might come in the middle? And I'm going to give you 30 seconds to pop something in the chat and we'll see what some folk came up with. Did you get an answer there? Did you see some logical progression? Anyone going to declare an answer? Or did I flummox you all? Oh, no answers coming up. Okay, Battle of Bannockburn was in 1314. The Battle of Agincourt was in 1415. And the Battle of Ottoman Mamluk was in 1516. So if you put any battle that took place in 1415, you get the right answer. Excellent. Marjorie saying full marks this time. I was asking you if you'd got an answer and I was showing Agincourt 1415. Okay. Right, we're going to so that was round 7. So we've got marks out of 70. And Marjorie has a very respectable 53 out of 70. Sheila with 46. George and Eunice at 48. Excellent. Okay, let's go to a round all about flags. And the first question, from which continent are all these flags? From which continent are all these flags that you see? And you got that one now? Okay, from a different continent, which country's flag is this? And how about this one? Which country's flag? And just realizing a little technical hitch, and hopefully, yes, I will be able to. Oops, yeah, if I do that and ask you, that flag there, not a country flag, it's a flag that you might see at sea on a boat. Does that flag, white and blue with a triangle out of it, does that signify I have a diver down or I have an anchor down? If a boat was flying that flag, does it mean there's a diver down or an anchor down? And then I'm going to ask you, is this a real country flag or is it a Star Trek emblem? A real flag or a Star Trek emblem? Okay, are we ready for some answers? Okay, the first set of flags that you saw, they were all from the continent of Africa. And then we were looking for Vanuatu in Oceania. We did mention that in March when we had a question about the World Day of Prayer that came from Vanuatu. Spain, an easier one, and the blue and white flag on a boat indicates that there is a diver below. And the Star Trek looking symbol is in fact the country flag of St. Lucia. You didn't need to know which country, you just had to know that it was really a country flag and not a Star Trek symbol. Okay, so that was flags, and that takes us to the end of round 8. And so scores out of 80. Okay, and this is going to be around 9. And it's spelling. How's your spelling? You're going to see 5 words and they are spelt incorrectly. Oh, some of you are saying you were rubbish at flags. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Only 2. The Africa ones. You got those, didn't you? Okay. Yeah, you weren't meant to see the overflowing in tray in the background there. Okay, can you spell them correctly? And the first word I want you to spell correctly is questionnaire. Questionnaire. And then I want you to spell supersede. Not what you'd feed a big budgie, but what you might replace it with. Supersede. And then how do you correctly spell entrepreneur? And how do you correctly spell broccoli? And how do you spell unnecessary? Okay, I'll give you a moment to check your spellings. Okay, the correct spellings that we're looking for: Questionnaire. Supersedes, super SEDE. Entrepreneur. Someone once famously said, I don't think the French have a word for entrepreneur, do they? ENTREPRENEUR. Broccoli, double C, single L. Unnecessary, UNNECESSARY. And hopefully we've got some 10 out of 10s there, have we? So that's 9 rounds, scores out of 90, and 58. Did anyone get all 5 of these correct spellings? Anyone get 4 of the 5 words spelt correctly? 3, 2. I'm sure you did well. Hey, you're just not telling me. Okay, the last round in tonight's quiz is 5 general knowledge questions, and we're almost done. And I hope you've enjoyed the quiz tonight. If you have enjoyed participating in the quiz half as much as I've enjoyed presenting it, then I've enjoyed it twice as much as you have, or something like that. Okay, last round, general knowledge. And the first question, again, one for the oldies. What was a Snickers bar called prior to 1990? What was the name for a Snickers bar prior to 1990? $56 out of 90, the only and therefore highest. $52, but all the spellings right. Well done, Mum and Dad. You know, Marjorie, I was just thinking that myself. Yeah, I'm wondering if I was looking at an American site or one that was, yeah, maybe Superseed looks right with a C. Yeah. I'll check that one. I'll look it up while you are having a think about which legendary surrealist artist is famous for painting melting clocks. Well, the internet seems to confirm that Superseed with an S is correct. And that supersede with a C is not actually a valid word, although many people use it. Perhaps needs some further investigation. Anyway, back to other general knowledge. Which legendary surrealist artist is famous for painting melting clocks? Which element has the symbol Sn in the periodic table? Fourth question in this round, and the penultimate question of the quiz. Which is longer, a nautical mile or a land mile? A nautical mile or a land mile, which is longer? And the final question, and I have a hunch that nobody will get this right, but you'll remember the answer for a long time. So here we go with the last question of the quiz. Before saying cheese to encourage a smile, what dried fruit was said in the early days of photography? First photographs were taken in the 1840s. And if you had your photograph taken in the 1800s, nobody would have said to you, say cheese. They would have said that you were to say a dried fruit. Not a dried fruit, but which dried fruit was used to encourage a smile in the early days of photography? Okay, there we are at the end of our quiz, and you want to know the answers to that last round. Have you got all your answers in? Okay, the name of a Snickers bar prior to 1990 was Marathon. And I'm not going to be doing a marathon in May, but I am going to take a leisurely 10,000 steps each day in May, and will be participating in the Christian Aid 300,000 steps in May challenge, and you can find that at Facebook. The link should be appearing in the chat just now. So Marathon, Salvador Dali, the surrealist artist famous for painting melting clocks. Tin, the element on the periodic table, Sn. A nautical mile is a little bit longer than a land mile. And apparently in the 19th century, in the days of early photography, when a photographer was trying to get a smile out of folk, he would encourage everyone to say prunes. And if I ask you that next month, you'll remember. So that was our quiz for the month of April. We're at the end of April. At the end of May, the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland is happening. proceedings will be live streamed. Reports just became available a few hours ago on the church website, and I'll be involved in that. That was one of the other reasons for moving to the last Friday of the month. General Assembly will finish on the 27th of May, and on the 28th we will have our quiz, and I'll have it all organised before the assembly, and I'm going to double check all the answers and not get caught out. I hope you've enjoyed the quiz tonight. Thank you for participating. Those of you who are around Strontian, Ardgour, Morvern, Kingairloch, there will be services at Ardgour, 10 o'clock on Sunday, and at 12 noon at Keele in Morvern. Booking is required either to myself or to the session clerks. Thank you very much once again, and good night, and God bless you all. Sleep well, keep well, take care of yourself, and take care of others. Good night.